Welcome to another episode of Focus on Health. Now, I always give a teaser. So this teaser is, haven't spoken about this topic before. It's a very interesting one. It's one that will change your life if you decide to adhere to it. A lot of good information. The doctor here is off the chain as far as things that I tried to experiment and do and works. So see you on the other end of this commercial.
Hi, I'm Mayor Skip Henderson. No matter who we are, parents, business owners, faith leaders, teachers, vaccines help keep us healthy so we're free to do the things we want to do. There are vaccines we need as adults to help protect us from shingles, pneumonia, and the flu. It's easy to find out which ones you need. Just ask your doctor or your pharmacist. I'm so proud of how we support each other in our community. So let's knock it out of the park. Join me in making sure that you're up to date on your adult vaccinations. When you're protected, our community is stronger.
Welcome back to Focus on Health. Now, you hear all the things about healthy eating, which is good. And a friend of mine told me about Dr. Owusu. You're going to see her in a minute. And this is her book, and I've gone into this book, and trust me, it's off the chain. Being my age, I want to live a whole lot longer, so I'm definitely going to jump into this. It's a lifestyle change. And I'm going to have her explain it. Dr. Owusu, would you look into this camera and let everybody know everything about you, a little bit of background about yourself, also where your office is located, the hours, brick and mortar location, email, phone number.
Hello, I'm Dr. Jacqueline Owusu. I am an MD trained internal medicine specialty, and I also work a holistic program where we help people to use nutrition and healthy habits to heal their bodies. So that's what, in a nutshell, that's what I do. I have a clinic that's located on, it's called Renew Health Clinic, and it's located on 10th Avenue, 2022, 10th Avenue, Suite B, Columbus, Georgia, 31901. And the telephone number there is 706-507-9407. 706-507-9407. So I do a lot of like Zoom teachings, and I do one-on-one coaching if you have like very severe illness. But mostly we use natural herbs and natural foods to heal the body, because the body always wants to heal itself. You just need to give it what it needs to be able to heal itself.
So that's what you call, that's why this is exciting. It's holistic medicine, and holistic, I remember 20 years ago, people were saying that's crazy. And they found out that it's true. The good Lord made your body so meticulously that you can actually control, you have a more control over your health than you realize. And I know that as an RN, but let me just tell you something. Over the years, I've learned even more. And when I read this book here, it just opened up my eyes to a lot of things. And I tried something over, and we're going to talk about it in just a little bit. But holistic medicine is the way to go. Not discounting medications, but I know that you have some medications that every medication has a certain degree, some of them, side effects. And then, of course, when you take as many as I've had to take, you have some of them that are contraindicated, but they don't hurt me that much, but they're still contraindicated to take. So the bottom line is the fact that whatever you can do holistically, as far as lifestyle change, because we have control. The good Lord made the body. Dr. Owusu is going to talk about that. She's got a lot of good information on the slides, phenomenal information. on the slides. And so I'm going to let Dr. Owusu, with Owusu, get started. And she's going to tell you about all the various systems in the body. So Dr. Owusu, you have control.
Okay.
You can say next slide, and the
Okay.
slide will appear.
Okay. Well, so today I kind of wanted to touch on understanding the lymphatic system. A lot of people really do not know what it is, but a lot of times when there are a lot of things that bring toxins into our body. Mm-hmm. And you have to understand that the body is always in the form of detoxification. It's absorbing, and then it's processing, absorbing, and then detoxifying or eliminating. You understand? So the lymphatic system this is how I like to understand. I want you, or the layman's terms of understanding it. I want you to look at your house. You have a kitchen and you have the bathroom. And so the kitchen is basically where nutrients come in, right? You bring food in.
Right.
And then the bathroom is where elimination goes.
Right.
So your lymphatic system is the elimination, and the kitchen in your blood your body is the blood.
Right.
So food is coming into the blood, and then, eliminating through your bowel system,
Right.
and it's eliminating as the cells also eat, they also have to eliminate.
Right.
So basically this slide is talking about understanding the lymphatic system. When you eat, right, we can't control all the other things that are environmental, but we can control what we put in our system.
Sure.
So when we eat any type of food, whether it's rice, chicken, whatever, it goes through the mouth. The mouth, actually, there are two forms of digestion. You have the mastication,
Right,
which
you
when
need
your
chewing.
teeth breaks down, exactly. Then you have the digestive part, the chemical part, where there are different
stomach.
different enzymes.
Right.
That are secreted to help digest the food. So there are enzymes that are secreted to digest carbohydrates like starches, and then there are enzymes that are secreted to digest protein, then there are enzymes that are secreted to digest fats.
Right.
Okay? So all that goes through, the digestion starts in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
As you see, the salivary glands will, release some enzymes to digest the carbohydrates. Then from there, it goes through the esophagus, that long tube right there. Then it goes to the stomach. Now, the stomach is an acidic area. You have hydrochloric acid in the
Right.
stomach. And it's very important because not only is it very important to digest your proteins, right?
Right.
It's also important as the first line agent for any toxins or bugs that are coming in.
Right.
Because when they hit the stomach hydrochloric acid will
Will
destroy
destroy them, right.
Exactly. Then from there, in the stomach, the digestion of protein starts. But everything is on hold until it's finished, and then it goes through the small part of the first part of the small intestine.
Right.
There, different hormones and
Transport.
enzymes are coming in to help further break down the food. Okay.
Right.
Remember, the stomach is acidic, so anything that comes from the stomach going into the small intestine is acidic.
Sure.
So the pancreas will release sodium chloride,
Right.
like sodium bicarbonate, to basically buffer.
To buffer it, right. Mm-hmm.
Because acid is buffered by base.
Right.
So once it's buffered, then different things come in. So the liver then will release, it makes bile and it's stored in the gallbladder. Right. And then from there, the bile is going to help with the fat, the fat
Break the fat,
emulsification.
yeah, mm-hmm.
And this is how I like to explain that is basically when you cook like a piece of bacon on the stove, right? And you put the frying pan in the sink. You put water and then there's fat droplets on
Sure.
top. What breaks down the fat droplets? The soap,
Sure.
right? When you put soap in, you get like a soapy thing, and then the fats is emulsified. That's exactly what bile that is stored in the gallbladder does for the fat that's coming in your food.
Right.
So then the pancreas is the master organ digestion, okay? The master digestion of the organ that digests or sends a lot of like the enzymes into your small intestine. So it's going to send an enzyme to break down the fats. It's going to send an enzyme to break down your carbohydrates further. It's going to send an enzyme that breaks down protein, okay? Once all of that mush is broken down to like it's liquefied,
Right.
simple monomers.
Headed for the colon.
Yes. Then it moves further in through the small intestine and it's absorbed. So we have digestion,
Right.
then we have absorption. Once it's absorbed, so we have food energy. The food energy is basically what you just digested. Then it's absorbed, right? Now it goes into your cells.
Right.
So where you put it in your stomach
Right.
is different from what's going into the cells
That's
because now
exactly
it has to go into the cells. So the rest of what was not completed in digestion goes into the large colon,
There we go.
and then it goes into the toilet.
Right,
That's I call that your metabolic waste elimination.
right.
But you also have the ones that whatever was absorbed into the cells, right? And now those cells have to eat. Just like your mouth had
Right.
to eat and go into your stomach,
Right.
the cells also have to eat. And once they eat, they have to eliminate.
Right.
So I call that elimination of the cell, that is what is called the cellular metabolic waste. Remember, the one that went into the colon is the metabolic waste.
Right.
But then you have the cellular metabolic waste,
Right.
cell metabolic waste.
Metabolism. Mhm.
So once that cell goes, metabolize the food you gave it, and then it eliminates, guess what? Something has to pick it up. Just like you brought food into the kitchen,
Right.
now, and then it had to go through the bathroom, the lymphatic system is what cleans up this cellular metabolic waste.
There we go.
Do you understand? And the lymphatic system is connected to both your urinary tract as well as to your skin, okay, as well as to your bowels.
Right, that helps in all in elimination.
Yes.
of the-
So next slide.
Yeah.
And then next slide to the next slide. Okay, so once it gets into the cell, see how you ate the carbohydrate and glucose was made, right? So it digested it to glucose. So that glucose now has to get into the cell. Let's take glucose for instance. So if glucose is a food energy, right? It's in your system, right? Your blood, you ate a rice dish or some kind of bread. So glucose is high in your system.
Sure.
It has to come out of the blood and go into the cell in order for you to get the energy.
Right.
So now what happens? The body is controlled by hormones. So the body senses that the blood is high in
It's high,
glucose.
right.
So it says, hey, I need to get this glucose from the blood into the cell.
Sure.
But on the membrane of every cell, you have receptors.
Right.
So there's an insulin receptor. The body tells the pancreas, hey, there's a high level of glucose in the blood. So can you be able to help me get it in? So
Right.
guess what the pancreas does? It releases insulin.
That's exactly
Insulin is a
right.
hormone. And a hormone is released right into the bloodstream. And then it's going to come in and then it's going to, you see how insulin on that slide is a key.
It's a key. It allows
And then
it
the insulin receptor
Sure.
is the lock. So it's going to come in and unlock
right.
the lock. You see that? And once it does that, then the glucose channel is going to open and glucose is going to go inside.
Go into the cell.
But a lot of times we have, because of over years of eating poor nutritional foods,
Right.
or overeating, we eat, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, all kinds of processed foods, that we become insulin resistant, meaning that the insulin is going to be released fine, okay?
But it's more difficult.
The
It's a more
receptor-
difficult process.
The
right.
receptor has a problem receiving the insulin.
Right.
So you would notice that if somebody is that type 2 diabetic, their insulin level is going to be fine.
Right.
The pancreas, the problem is not the pancreas. The
No.
pancreas can actually release, secrete the insulin
Sure.
because it detects a high glucose in the blood. But when the insulin comes and try to attach itself to the insulin receptor, there's going to be a problem.
It's going to be a
And that
problem.
is what is known as insulin resistance.
Resistance, right.
So we get insulin resistance decades before we even get diabetes.
Right,
So
that is.
when we are insulin resistant, we realize that so many things is going wrong. Maybe our blood pressure is not controlled, our sugars are not controlled, like so many things. But then eventually, what we'll notice is it gets worse and worse because there are different degrees of insulin resistance. So now, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
That's good. I'm just saying, you're really
Okay.
going to, and this is good, but we're going to have to.
Okay, so now basically, the insulin resistance is getting worse and worse and worse. So in order for us to correct the insulin resistance, that's why I like to talk about the lymphatic system.
Good.
Next slide.
There you go.
So the lymphatic system, as I
The
said, is a
drainage
drainage.
network.
Yep, it's a drainage network that runs throughout your whole body. And the network includes tubes such
There
as
we go.
lymphatic vessels and filters called lymph nodes. Next slide.
There we go.
And it's a clear, watery fluid called lymph that moves the system, okay? And then the lymph is made up of fluid and protein that comes from body tissues. Next slide. So most of the lymphatic vessels have valves, like those in the veins, and to keep the lymph, which can flowing in one direction toward the heart. Okay, the lymphatic vessels drain fluid called lymph from tissues throughout the body, because we have over 100 trillion cells in our body.
Sure.
And each cell is eating and eliminating. And the lymphatic system is from the head all the way to the toe and is draining it.
Isn't that
okay?
awesome way God made the body?
I mean, it's amazing.
It is amazing.
It's amazing. So the lymphatic system drains fluid called lymph from tissues throughout the body and returns the fluid to the venous system. Mostly it's connected to the kidneys, because you notice that you can urinate but not filter.
Exactly.
And you want to urinate and filter.
And filter, right.
Okay, next slide. So once it's drained, these small vessels will enter into larger vessels. Continue, next slide. And the lymph nodes, now this is as the lymph moves through the lymphatic vessels, it passes through lymph nodes. Now let me, because I like to equate it to house so people can understand.
Sure.
So your bathroom is the lymphatic system, right? But then it goes through your sewer system, right? And the sewer system is your lymph nodes. Because what is in the lymph nodes? In the lymph nodes, you have bacteria, you have white blood cells made in the lymph nodes that filters out germs and destroys them.
It destroys them, right.
So the more, over years of eating, and that's why you notice that diabetes and other chronic diseases usually affect you when you're a little bit older.
Sure.
Because over years of eating poorly and kind of always eating processed foods and the wrong stuff, and your body always being in the digestive mode instead of your healing mode, right? Then your lymphatic system gets backed up.
And you brought up a good point. That's where I know you're going to talk about later. Is fasting.
Yes.
Because you said the body is always doing something.
So now the lymphatic system will get clogged up. So that's why fasting is one way to declog the lymphatic system. Detoxification, I like to use detoxification with fruits to also declog, the lymphatic system. Next slide. So the clean lymph and WBCs then move throughout the body, and then it opens especially if you have good kidneys, it will filter. You will urinate. You see what I mean? And once you urinate, you're getting out the toxins. Okay? As another thing is also you can sweat, and then you're getting out the toxins as well.
Sure.
So inside the lymph nodes are, like I said, white blood cells and lymphatic system. Lymphocytes, the white blood cells, and they attack and break down bacteria, viruses, damaged cells, or cancer cells that are coming in.
That's awesome. That's one that we need to linger on, because it says inside the lymph nodes are white blood cells and all the lymphocytes.
Right.
And then break down and attack bacteria, viruses, damaged cells, or cancer cells. Right.
So that's why it's so important to make sure that your lymphatic system is detoxified and is working properly.
Sure.
Because once it's backed up, diseases occur.
Now let's stop for a minute. How does a person maintain the lymphatic system so that it functions?
By giving yourself rest from food. Fasting, and also fasting. If you can't fast long periods, then you fast with fruits. Fruits is alkaline. Vegetables, salads, fresh salads are alkaline. So the lymphatic system, remember, is acid because it's clearing out acidic stuff. So what does acid and base do? Base buffers out acid.
Neutralize.
So basically, that's what you want to do. You want to be able to use like fruits to buffer out the acids, to fast, or to do a water fast. Like I tell people, every time we sleep, Pops, we fast.
You're fasting.
So let's say you stop eating your last meal at 6 p.m., right? And you don't put anything in your mouth, because a lot of times we stop eating, but then we linger. Oh, we take this little grape here or this little donut here. You understand what I mean?
Let's stop for a minute.
Yes.
Because I want to let our viewing audience know I tried this last night, by the way. And it's a psychological thing, really, because we spoke about this last night, so I wanted to give it a test run. And normally I get up early in the morning, like around 2 o'clock. As I got up, I slept a little bit later because I knew I was going to be fasting longer. And so I got up at 4 o'clock, but I stopped eating at 5:20 last night. And so my goal really was 9 o'clock. And so the doctor gave me some tips to use, because I know I'm eating early in the morning. I'm eating goodness around 3 o'clock. I'm eating toast or something. And so I love carbonated water, so I got myself some carbonated water, and it does give you that
that hunger, that satiety.
Yeah, satiety. It does calm the satiety. But the psychological thing of my eating and thinking about eating, because it's automatic. If you think about something that you like, your mouth is going to water. So it's a
Yes.
psychological thing. So I did make it. I made it to 850. My goal was 9. So I did it. But it is definitely a lifestyle change. And we're going to cover that because we have a lot of slides to go through. So we're going to be hustling through the slides. But I want to linger towards the end of the program on the process. So we can start to the next slide, Doctor.
Okay. So
Next
next
slide.
slide. Okay, so basically the lymph fluid carries the waste products and destroy bacteria back, okay? And then let me go to the kidneys, the liver, the kidneys and bowels then remove these broken down waste. And as metabolic waste are being removed, processed, and eliminated, there's an increased level of urination and bowel movements, okay? And these are methods that the body uses to eliminate the lymph waste from the body.
Now,
Next slide.
Next slide. And a good case in point was when I did fast. I normally struggle with IBS, irritable bowel, but what you mentioned did occur. I had earlier elimination
Yes.
when I didn't. So this is following through
Yes.
that it does work because you hit the nail on the head
Yes.
when you mentioned that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's go.
So, okay, so basically, how do you drain the lymphatic system? Because one of the things is you don't want to get it congested, okay? So one of the ways is to exercise. Regular exercise is key for healthy lymphatic system. Just even a simple walk. You don't have to do anything strenuous, just a simple walk, okay?
Alternative treatments.
Because remember, the lymphatic system is not like the heart where you have valves pumping it.
Sure.
So you want to move it. And that's kind of what exercise does.
The alternative treatments. What is that?
Alternative treatments like, doing hot and cold shower stuff,
Okay.
or taking herbs, natural herbs to kind of help detox the body,
Okay.
and then use dry brushing.
What
drink,
is that?
Like you take dry brush and
Okay.
brush yourself. You brush your
So
skin.
that helps also.
Right, because think about it, the skin is the biggest eliminative organ in your body,
Okay. So.
okay?
So that will help to drain the fluid, the
Right,
lymphatic
because you're
fluid from the
moving.
body.
Yes, you're moving it. So drink clean water, drink lots of water, carbonated water, especially if you do your fasting. I promote fasting, and when I say fasting, if you're new to fasting, and fasting is not new, it's God's way of detoxifying us.
our body.
So if you and I'll talk about that later, but avoid like tight clothes. Deep breathing, do a lot of meditation and deep breathing, and eat foods that promote lymph flow, like the fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
Next slide. Common allergens such as dairy, gluten, soya, shellfish. These are, very common. These are foods that inflame the lymph nodes. But low quality animal products, refined vegetable oils, processed foods, big. Coffee and alcohol are stimulants. Okay, you don't have to do it every day, but you just have to know they are stimulants, okay? And they can dilate the lymph tissue and cause more swelling. Next slide.
Oh, that's interesting. Could we go back to that one?
Okay.
Say that again about the
Coffee and alcohol are stimulants.
Right.
Because
Sure,
you drink alcohol,
sure.
you know how it affects you.
And coffee is because of caffeine.
You drink coffee, you get jittery, you get, you know how it's a stimulant,
So they say it can dilute the lymph tissue.
Yeah,
and
can
cause
dilate the lymph tissue
Dilate
and
the-
cause some swelling. Okay? So these are some of the things that will inflame the lymph
That's
nodes.
what I'm talking about. That will inflame
Yeah.
the lymph nodes. Okay.
Next slide. Nutrient deficiencies may also lead to lymph congestion as well, like iodine, magnesium, and vitamin C are important to migrate and the harmful effects of environmental toxins, and also to support your lymph system in protecting your body. So it's very important that you eat.
That you
If
get
you
enough
eat
of-
enough fruits and vegetables, you
You
will
will
get
get-
enough
you will get
iodine and
those- you
magnesium
will
and
get
vitamin
those
C.
nutrients.
Yes, because a lot of times we just we focus on just taking supplements, but a lot of the supplements are not absorbed. You know what I mean? So if you eat enough fruits and vegetables,
They will be absorbed in
nature's
your body
food,
more
yes.
readily.
Yes.
Okay.
Next slide. So when your lymphatic system doesn't work well, what happens if it doesn't drain, if the lymphatic system does not drain properly? Well, when your lymphatic system doesn't drain well or work well, your body accumulates fluid
Right.
and may begin to swell. The swelling typically starts, your arms and
Arms and
legs,
legs,
okay? But it can affect other areas of your body too. You can have some pain as well because
Sure.
you're building up inflammation and toxins, right?
Plenty of lymphedema.
Right. Lymphedema also increases your risk of developing an infection where you have, some condition that can happen.
And also, when you have that fluid, you're causing your heart to work
Yes,
harder.
to work harder, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So some foods can exacerbate lymphedema symptoms because of the way they are processed and the additives of high salt content.
Here we go with the
they,
salt.
These foods include like added sugars, specifically fructose, added fructose. Not a lot of people get it confused with fructose in fruits.
Right, I know they do.
Fructose in fruits is excellent for your body,
Yes.
and you can use it to detox your body. But chemically processed fructose
It's a problem.
That is a chemical.
Right,
That
that's a
is
problem.
dangerous for the body.
But I'm glad you're clarifying that because a lot of people think it helps.
Yeah.
But natural
Fructose
is
from
the
fruits.
way to go.
Yes. And if you're diabetic, a lot of people say don't eat fruits, but that's what you should eat. I've used fruits to basically help a lot of my diabetics patients because when you eat fruits, okay, it's not like when you eat like other stuff that's glucose based where you're producing glucose. Fruits actually get into the cells without the aid of insulin because of the fructose. Fructose can get into the cells without the aid of insulin.
Yes.
So if you're a diabetic and you eat fruits, you might say, oh, my blood sugar is high because when your glucometer cannot test whether it's glucose or fructose.
That's it.
Do you understand? So when eventually your body will start eliminating, your lymphatic system will start clearing, your insulin resistance because of the diabetes will get better.
Sure.
Okay? So some of the foods, like I said, the refined sugar, like fructose, refined grains, a lot of the fast food stuff, a lot of like packaged foods, all those things. Chemically modified fats and a lot of animal products and dairy products also actually exacerbate it.
Sure.
Okay, next slide. And the majority of the lymphatic system surrounds your gut. Your gut health and the health of the intestinal villi is essential for the lymph flow and detoxification and immunity especially, okay? So if you have to make sure that your gut health is very important.
Sure.
So that's why the fasting, I tell people, is even great. Fasting with fruits or just fasting with water is great because your gut health improves.
I can imagine it, so I can just let my viewing audience, it will probably be easier because sometimes when you can make incremental changes, it's a lot easier and you're more consistent in doing it. Because I can see what I would have to do. I would have to fast with fruit. I already know that already. But something like that is achievable.
Yes.
So what I want to just, from a personal perspective, because from my experience last night, it would have been easier for me if I had done something like that.
Yeah. So now, like, what you could have done, because you get up early. Like, you get up relatively earlier than most people.
Sure.
I'm an early bird too, because I'm up like 3 o'clock in the morning. Mm. So what I do when I get up is I'll have a glass of water or I have a sparkling water, okay? And then I go into my prayer and all that. But for you did that. You had your sparkling water.
I had the sparkling water there because you gave me that tip.
Right. So now let's say you had your first meal at 5. Okay, so from 5 to 5 a.m., 5 p.m. to 5 a.m., that's 12 hours. At 6 o'clock, when did you really start getting really, really hungry?
To be perfectly honestly, my mind started working because as soon as that's why I say it's going to be more of a psychological adaptation than physiological because I'm normally eating something that early in the morning and so I was thinking about that. But what I did is I drank more water, and the water does help, because the water does give you that somewhat feeling of satiety, right?
Fullness,
So that helped. But as we go into the end of this here, because I want to cover as much of the slides as we can.
So let me ask you a question. What time
that.
Did you start getting hungry?
Okay, I got up around 4 o'clock. To be perfectly honest with you, psychologically, and that has a lot to do with it, around 5, a little bit after 5, because I know I would have eaten something already.
Okay.
But I started drinking the carbonated water. That's a good thing.
Okay.
Carbonated water is good, and I love carbonated water. But I can see if I had taken some fruit, that would have helped me. And the point I'm trying to make, and we're going to take a break in a minute, the point that I'm trying to make is that this is something that's achievable.
Right.
But you need to be biting off what you know that you can consistently do and then add on to. So we're going to come back at the other end of this commercial. We're going to talk more about that because this process is something that if you're thinking about eating healthily, you need to start thinking about how you're going to be able to achieve it.
Right.
See you on the other end of this commercial.
Hi, I'm Rosa Evans, Director of Metro Transit System here in beautiful Columbus, Georgia. I'm in training to help with our bus operator shortage. If you're looking for a job, we would love to have you join our team of professionals. Visit our website at columbusga.gov/metro to apply.
Welcome back. I knew this was going to be a very interesting conversation because I've read the book here and it's a lot of good. And I'm going to tell you, this is, if you want to be healthy, you want to stay healthy, and as I want to stay on this earth here because I got a lot of great grands, so I want to be around for them. So the bottom line is, this is the book right here. And so you can see it. And the reason I'm showing it is because I'm going through this book here, and I know I'm going to have to repeat it. It's a lot of information, but it's common sense when you really start looking at it and reading it, and you, like fasting. I've never been one I'm a very religious person, so I have fasted on occasions. And fasting is good for the body, but the way Dr. Owusu has it, she explains all the things that are going on into your system and why fasting is good. And so we're going to go through, we have about 5 more slides. I want to go through the slides. Then we're going to talk about the experiential part, with the first steps, things that you need to do that will help you. I went through it. I know what I need to do. The next time from the fast, I can add fruit, maybe drink more water because the carbonated water does work. But we're going to go through the slides to get through the slides because you're going to be able to watch them on your own while you're home and while you're watching this program. But I also want to really talk to anyone who wants to get started. Dr. Owusu, look into that camera right there and give them all the information about you again.
So my name is Dr. Jacqueline Owusu. I'm a trained MD, internal medicine specialty, and I have a clinic that is on 10th Avenue, Renew Health Clinic. So the name of the book is Renew Health,
Right.
Taking Control of Your Temple. And my clinic is Renew Health Clinic. It's on 2022 10th Avenue, Suite B, Columbus, Georgia, 31901. And I think the telephone number there is 706-507-9407. So if you need to reach us, you can always contact us there. We are there to help you work through the process. We have a monthly challenge that we do. You can pay. It's a Zoom challenge, and you can actually be in the comfort of your own home and understand and get the knowledge that we are trying to share here.
Email?
My email address is JacquelineOwusu38@gmail.com.
Great. Doctor, let's go on to the next slide, get all this good information here.
So if your lymphatic system is congested, it cannot protect you effectively and makes you prone to infections and disease. So keeping your lymphatics, the lymphatic flow smooth and free from lymphatic congestion is absolutely critical. I can't say that enough. Okay, to your health and well-being. And that's why we have all these diseases. So if you have any type of disease like high blood pressure, diabetes, heart problems, cholesterol problems, and you want to start reversing it because you can reverse it.
Right.
We have had a lot of patients come through my clinic or gone through my challenge, and they have reversed their problems and they're thriving.
And that's awesome.
So you can. So not drinking enough water and lacking physical activity, like even simple walking, can result in your lymph fluids, slowing down. Your lymph system relies on pressure from muscle movement and breathing to move fluids around. Lacking this pressure due to sitting too long or chronic dehydration may slow and congest your lymphatic system.
And
Next
exercise
slide.
now is very good now because you can even sit in your chair and
Yeah,
do
and
this
just
here.
exit. You can sit.
You can rock back
Yeah,
and forth like
yeah.
this here. You can go like this here.
Yes.
Or whatever,
Yes.
as long as you are keeping your system moving.
Yes. And we have, by the way, we also have a YouTube channel called Renew Health, and it's excellent. I mean, there's so much teaching that I do on there. Plus, I also have like testimonials. So you can, and go there. There's,
Right.
tremendous information on there. So the next slide, right? Okay.
There we go.
So how do I know if my lymphatic system
This
is clogged?
is good. This
okay?
is a good
So you can
slide.
have some fatigue, stiffness, muscle and joint pain, bloating, retaining fluid, breast swelling during your cycle, headaches, weight gain, cold hands and feet, skin problems, and such as cellulite. All of that is part of your lymphatic system congestion.
And I can see where it's tied in, particularly the fatigue and joint pain.
Yeah, yeah.
I can see where it's
Yeah.
tied in. Next slide.
Next
please.
slide. So the fastest way to detox the lymphatic system is by eating hydrating foods like fruits and vegetables to detox the acid-forming foods we normally put in our system that has been causing a lot of acidity in our bodies, which is making us sick. So when I say acidic foods, like basically if you eat meats and dairy, those are acidic foods.
Sure.
So you want to eat foods like fruits and vegetables to detoxify,
Sure.
buffer it, like like we said. So as you change your diet and make healthier alkaline choices, because fruits and vegetables are alkaline,
there we
the
go.
next best thing to do for your lymphatic system is move. Just simple walking, or if you can't walk, like Pop says, you sit in your chair and you move.
That's exactly right.
On the Renew Health channel, we have a move and move, just sitting and move
And
exercise.
they have something that I noticed that they started doing in the senior centers, and it's very easy. I hear a lot. I have generalized arthritis. But you can do something like this here.
Yeah.
You can actually do this here, even while you're watching
Yeah.
TV, or you do
Yeah.
leg lifts.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the doctor
Yeah.
is speaking about.
Yeah.
Very easy
Yeah.
to do, or you can even do something like this
Yes,
here.
yes, yes.
And for all the seniors that have children and grandchildren, you can't be still when they're in your lap and
Yeah.
you're moving and you
Yeah.
hold them and all.
Yeah.
That's good exercise.
Yes,
That's
it is.
good exercise
It
to
is.
do.
It is.
So let's get to that, because I want to
Okay.
I wanted us to get through the slides, Doctor, so we
Okay.
can get through so we can actually talk through
Okay.
for all of our viewing
Okay.
audience that we're piquing their curiosity.
Okay.
So we need to start speaking to them on the
Okay.
show how they can get started
And get their body healed.
and get their body
Yes.
healed.
Yes.
And then we're going to recap some of the things that are important about
Okay.
fruits being alkaline.
Okay.
Because you're diabetic, and you're
Yeah.
right, you very important point.
Yeah.
People think, I'm diabetic, I can't eat fruit. That's not
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, this
So-
slide here. What's the
so in
fastest way to
addition-
cleanse your lymphatic
Yes.
system?
So in addition to proper nutrition and exercise, adequate water intake is very important for the lymphatic system. Dehydration is one of the most common causes of lymphatic congestion, which can further exacerbate existing lymph problems. So drinking sufficient water throughout the day encourages healthy lymphatic function and reduces water retention. Therefore, drink plenty of water. Just if according to what your doctor says you should drink, because some people have congestive heart failure, and you have to be mindful
right.
of how much water you take.
Because I'm thinking about people who may be on Lasix.
Right.
So what the doctor is saying is to just always interface with your
Always,
PCP. Yes.
always, talk to your doctor. Okay.
Right.
So the next slide. So in conclusion, the digestion, absorption, utilization, because when you eat food, you're going through digestion, absorption, utilization, and elimination of the food that we eat is a very complex process. You saw how much energy it takes to digest it, right?
yes.
So, and it involves the release of various enzymes and substances from different organs. The whole process requires a lot of energy to complete. So it involves the digestive system, as we saw, right? The immune system, and the lymphatic system, and the eliminative system.
Right.
Okay? The GI system gets rid of digestive waste, as we saw, the stuff that you don't digest, you will go through the colon and come to the toilet bowl. And then the lymphatic system will get rid of your metabolic waste
Right.
from the cells. Okay? Next slide. Every food we eat has an acidic byproduct or an alkaline byproduct, mostly acidic byproduct. The lymphatic system drains, the
Drains both of them,
byproducts. Overload of acidic byproduct causes acidosis, inflammation, and most of the diseases which plagues our human bodies today. Okay? To cleanse and decongest the lymphatic system, we must eat more alkaline byproduct foods or alkaline foods such as fruits and vegetables. So you need to drink plenty of water and exercise, okay? And practice stress management. Because if you're stressed, your cortisol level is going to be high. And that cortisol, if it's prolonged, okay, in short periods, it's okay, but if
yes.
it's prolonged,
Yes.
it causes a lot of, havoc in your body. Okay, and you will cleanse that lymphatic system, heal your body, and gain your vitality and wellness back. Because I promise you, self-care is healthcare is self-care, and you have to take control of your healthcare. Okay, next slide. I think, are we done with the
I think
slide?
this is,
Okay.
all right.
All right.
And so at the top of the program, beginning of the program, I said, in reading this book, but knowing also, being involved in healthcare, that we have really way more control than we think we have.
Yeah.
And as Dr. Owusu has been explaining, you're the engineer, you're the driver of your own health. And I always try to impress upon people. Now, let's talk about getting started.
Okay.
Now, I did a dry run myself last night after I got off the phone. I said, okay, I'm in for a challenge. And so what I did, because at the hour, I could have gotten up at 2 o'clock because I just laid there. I said, I just want to lay here, maybe nod a little bit, which would shorten my so fast time, because the one good thing that the doctor pointed out, which is true, when we're sleeping, we're what? Fasting. So a lot of people equate fasting with being awake and moving around and not being able to eat, but that kind of made it easier for me to work with the fact that I said, okay, part of it, I'm going to be fasting when I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And so when I got up, normally I have my cup of coffee that gets the brain cells clicking and the synapses or whatever, but I didn't. I said I wanted to try to see now I love water, carbonated water. And so when the doctor told me that would help with the satiety, first thing I got 2 bottles out of my carbonated water. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. They just regular good carbonated water. And I chug-a-lugged it, because normally I'm eating that time in the morning. I'm drinking my coffee. And it does give you that satiety that you want, I guess because of the carbonation in it. And so I was doing my normal work and whatever, my quiet time, reading scripture and stuff and all, and doing some of the council stuff. And I looked at the other bottles. It's time for me to chug-a-lug that again. So to make a long story short, I've always suffered with IBS. But I noticed, and when we met this earlier this morning, she hit a point on. I had no problem with elimination this morning. I probably had about 3 of the bottles of carbonation, because it does give you that feeling of satiety and whatever. It's mostly psychological when you're used to habitually eating at a certain time. So I do know that I can do this here without any problem. It's not only just the physiological, it's the psychological. So that's why I'm saying, doctor, you people need to bite off manageable chunks. And so I'm going to let you talk about that, because I know you've spoken to other people who have.
Okay. So basically, time-restricted eating is just, that's what it is. It's like you are restricting the time that you eat, and you are allowing your body to go into healing mode. Because your body is either in digestion mode or healing mode, right? So you want to be in digestion mode we are mostly in digestion mode most of the time. You want to be in healing mode. And God created it where when we go to bed, we are not eating, so we're going to healing mode.
Healing mode, right.
So you just want to extend that healing mode a little bit longer, right? And healing mode means your body's going to function whether you give it food or not.
Right.
If you give it food, it's going to eat. It's going to utilize what you gave it.
Sure.
If you don't give it food, it's going to utilize what the body has.
Exactly.
So let's take for you, for instance, you wake up early, around 2 or 3 o'clock, right? Or was it 4? 2
or 3
Okay,
o'clock.
so for you, right, because usually you want to give yourself a 16-hour gap of fasting, and part of that includes your sleeping time. So for you, what I would suggest is eat your heaviest meal around 3 o'clock. See, when you eat your heaviest meal around 3 o'clock, you will not be hungry.
Right.
Because your belly is full, right? And so around like 5 o'clock, then have some fruits. And then later on go to bed. When you wake up at 3, right? Because your heaviest meal was at 3.
That would
you
be the
basically
12
exactly
12 hours right
exactly.
there.
It will really, the 12 hours really start from 5. But fruits, I don't really consider it a lot of, So yeah, give yourself, eat your heaviest meal at 3. If you're not hungry at 5, don't eat.
Oh,
And then
sure.
that will give you from 3 to 3, which is 12 hours.
Right.
When you wake up, instead of eating first in the morning, drink some carbonated water.
Carbonated water does work.
Okay? That will give you maybe another hour or 2, which is like what, 14 hours of
Sure,
fasting? And then have some fruits. So
So
always
you can
start.
cover that 6, and the way that you're breaking it down now is manageable.
Yes.
It's manageable, and it's just a shift. You're going to have to just shift your lifestyle a little bit. But the way you broke it down at 3 o'clock till 3, and I know my body. I won't eat for the next 2 hours. I'm just
Because when
not-
you wake up, your body just woke up, right? It
Right.
needs to eliminate.
Sure.
So give yourself some water. You know, always give your body some water so it can flush out toxins that was released while your body was healing when you were sleeping.
But the point that you made, I didn't have any problem with elimination, which is normally my thing with IBS. And so I do see, and just nutritionally. And then when you think about it, when you go, and a lot of people don't think of it this way, but when you go into a hospital, the first prescription that a doctor writes for you is your diet. Food is medicine.
It is medicine.
And so you can graphically see just from the slides that Dr. Owusu has been saying about the lymphatic system. And I'm so glad that you went through that. And to my viewing audience, you'll have a chance to see it. And when the slide comes up, you'll have an opportunity to really absorb all that nutritional and information gradually as you watch the program and watch it. But the main point that Dr. Owusu's getting is that you can manage your own health.
Yes.
And that fasting, shutting your system down, how important is a part of holistic medicine. Now, doctor, I want to allude to page 89,
Okay.
which is the Renew Health Transformation Program.
Okay.
Touch on this here, because we still got a
Okay.
little bit of time, I think.
So I have a Renew Health Transformation program that I put together, where I basically go through using fruits, because remember it's alkaline, and vegetables to detox your body. Mostly fruits, because fruits are the best detoxifier, even better than vegetables, okay? But I do use
Even
a lot.
better than vegetables?
Yes, sir. Because fruits is digested within 30 minutes to an hour, whereas vegetables would take about 3 hours to digest.
Okay.
So it's the best detoxifier. So I used a lot of fruits, especially for my newbies, okay, to detox their body and start getting them on the right path. And then after that, after they get used to it, then I start introducing some fasting, some longer fasting. Like, you know, instead of 12 hours, maybe we can move to 13 hours and ultimately try and get up to 16 hours of fasting.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So, and when you do that, then your body really goes into a good healing. So I'm here to tell you, if you have diabetes, if you have diabetes type 2, or even type 1, if you have high blood pressure, if you have cholesterol problems, you know, any type of cancers, any type of thing that, you know, you're going through, you can take control of your health. It's a matter of changing. The hardest part of this is the psychological component.
It is the psychological component.
Because we are so programmed to eating this and doing this and doing this, but I promise you, just start. Even if you don't want to change, you know, your diet. Okay, start with going to bed. You eat your last meal at 6 p.m. and at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. when you wake up, that's 13 hours right there.
That's exactly right.
If you feel like, start with some water and then, you know, have a fruit. And then that will push you at least to 9 before you even have your first meal.
Well, not only that, but I saw with the water, because we spoke about it, the water does help you because the water gives you that feeling of fullness. And the only thing I struggled with was psychologically, because I would have eaten at that time, and so, which I knew. And so when you think about, and the reason I'm saying this is because it's not as difficult as you may think, because when you realize that the hours that you are asleep, you're fasting.
Yes.
A lot of people, that clicked with me when you said it. And so when you first get up, and I knew I would want something to eat, I made sure I got myself 2 bottles of water.
Yes.
And I drank one down, what they call shotgun down. I shotgun one down really quickly, and I started doing my work. But I had the other bottle there, so in my mind, when I was thinking about, boy, it would be good to go fix some toast, I went and drank the other bottle of water, and I was fine. And so this is actually achievable. And when you talk about holistic health, and believe me, we have more control when it comes to guiding our health than we think about. So you need to think about holistically keeping yourself healthy as the doctor. She has a program, and I would encourage everybody, because I read this book here. It's a lot of good stuff in the book here, a lot of good knowledge in it, but holistic medicine is the way to go. Always confer with your healthcare provider before you do anything at all. And doctor, for one last time, if you can look in here, because we're going to be running close to time for us to get off the air. give all your contact information.
So my clinic, my name is Dr. Jacqueline Owusu. My clinic is Renew Health Clinic. It's located on 2022 10th Avenue, Columbus, Georgia, 31901, Suite B. And our telephone number there is 706-507-9407. So if you ever need to reach us, you know, you can always reach out to us. We do Zoom conferences, we do teaching, in-depth teaching, because I believe that the first step in healing your body is getting the knowledge.
Right.
You need to have the knowledge, and it's not only enough to have the knowledge, but to apply that knowledge. So the application of the knowledge is the key.
Email address?
Oh, my email address is Jacqueline Owusu 38@gmail.com. Jacqueline Owusu 38@gmail.com.
Thank you, doctor, for coming on the show. I will encourage everybody to start living holistically. Listen, the bottom line is you have more control than you really realize. And I always end a program, and this is the book, I always end a program by saying this here. Until next time, please be good and kind to yourself because God loves you.